How you doing, guys? Another episode of Arsenal in Battlefield 4. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the L85A2 assault rifle. This gun happens to be the first bullpup rifle or weapon that I've featured on my channel. I've never done a review of them, and I've not even really used them in any of my montages, and the simple reason is I've just completely overlooked bullpups as an entire class of weapons in Battlefield 4. They're extremely cool looking, they're very high tech, so they're very interesting weapons, and I've just completely overlooked them. So it was nice to do the L85A2 on this video, and I look forward to doing a few more bullpups in future. It seems like all the guns I've chosen to do so far for this series are guns I've never used before. So when I start off with them, I'm very inefficient with them. I'm just trying to get used to their rate of fires, their recoil patterns and things like that, because I tend to stick with things like the Scar H and my sniper rifles, which I favour a lot of the time. So it's really nice for me to have a bit of a challenge for a change and actually use guns I'm not proficient with. And it's actually helping me improve as a player because I'm having to learn different ways of dealing with guns that I'm less good with. In situations where I know I could take out 2 or 3 people with my Scar, this gun I was having to think of tactical ways where I could use this gun to its best potential and get the 2 or 3 kills that I needed to survive the encounters. Whereas with the Scar, I probably would have been able to just tap fire them to death. But with this gun I found that I couldn't always rely on that, so I had to rely a bit more on my tactic, which meant I'm actually improving as a player. And over the process of reviewing these guns, I can see my scores increasing. I can see that I'm working my way to the top of the leaderboards the more I use the guns. And interestingly, I can see that my overall KD is actually improving the more I play with these guns that I've never used, and I think it's because it's improving me as a tactical player rather than me just getting good with a certain gun. I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm trying stuff I would not have tried otherwise, and it's a really rewarding process, is getting used to new weapons that you've completely overlooked. Interestingly, one of the guns I've never used is the Ace-23, and this is a gun that everyone says is the most overpowered gun in the game. And it's the same with Battlefield 3. I never used, or hardly ever used, the M16A3. I probably used it when the game came out a bit. Then everyone was complaining of it being overpowered, so I switched my playstyle for the M416 or the Scar H or stuff like that. I didn't really use the M16. I haven't used the Ace-23 at all. I don't think I've even got 1 kill unless I had to pick it up in the middle of a firefight off a dead body and shoot maybe 1 or 2 people. That might be interesting to do and see whether I think it's justified in its title as the Manslayer that everyone gives it, as some overpowered beastly weapon that DICE have just given godly powers to. But we'll see. Right, and after all that rambling, let's get on with the L85A2 review. So how did I run this gun? Well, I struggled to find a definitive class that makes it exceptional or better than the standard. Definitely don't like the iron sight, so I'd put a red dot or a holographic on there straight away. The iron sights were very hard to use at anything other than close range, and even close range just limited your field of view too much. It's also not accurate enough to warrant a 3.5 or 4 times ACOG scope or something like that. I tried it, and to be honest, it was just spraying bullets everywhere other than the reticule, so I wouldn't bother with anything more than a red dot. It just isn't needed for this particular gun. For an underbarrel attachment, I went with either a angled foregrip or a vertical foregrip. The angled foregrip decreases your vertical recoil, whereas the vertical foregrip makes it better for hip fire and shooting on the move. Now, I found that I was putting a heavy barrel on this gun along with the laser so that I could get movement accuracy, which they've added to the heavy barrel, but it does add recoil. In other close quarters situations I was adding a muzzle brake instead, so just choose which of those you feel is better suited for you, and you'll have a gun that's definitely usable and fairly decent. Angle foregrip, vertical foregrip, muzzle brake or heavy barrel, laser with a red dot or holographic, and that was pretty much my class. On to the review. The gun has an extremely high rate of fire, making it pretty decent at close range. As I've mentioned, its accuracy is not brilliant, but with a heavy barrel or a muzzle brake alongside a foregrip, you can get decent medium range accuracy if you tap fire and are careful with your shot placement. However, its low damage is so low from my experience, to the extent that at medium range you'll often get 4 or 5 hits, maybe even 6 or 7, and they won't go down because the damage drop off is so high. So medium range, it's usable. I definitely got a lot of kills, as you'll probably see, at medium range, but some of those were just luck that they didn't decide to take cover and were too dopey to actually react to my shots. So medium range is usable but not good. Close range is pretty good, but the low damage again means you can have some frustrating engagements where you'll shoot like 10 rounds at a couple of people and not get a single kill, and they'll turn around and two-shot you with a Scar H or something like that, which happened to me quite a bit until I got used to the fact that with a headshot in there, this gun becomes pretty good. So always try and aim for the head. Use cover as much as you can because you're going to be outgunned by all the higher damaging weapons. As a result, I recommend flanking and using the minimap a lot. This gun can also be quite useful at hip firing if you're in a tight spot. So if you put the vertical foregrip on there and the laser, you can actually get fairly decent hip fire accuracy from this gun. And it makes it fairly versatile. I mean, you can use it in pretty much any situation as long as they're not over the other side of the map or something ridiculous like that. The L85A2 could be used on anything from Operation Locker all the way up to something as big as Caspian Border, and you would not be too frustrated unless you had a few problems. Like I found that I had some real problems with netcode this week. I don't know what made it so bad, but I was getting a lot more frustrating deaths with shot behind corners when I was clearly behind cover and things like that. But hopefully CTE will fix this. So overall, the gun is fun, it's fairly decent, but it isn't competitive due to its low damage and mediocre accuracy. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. If you want to see a specific weapon covered on this series, just leave a comment below. I've just finished my year 2 exams for university, so I've got a bit of time now. Be able to get a few more of these out for you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys soon. Goodbye.